All I've seen over the past couple weeks is a lot of Caleb Williams hate, and trust me, I am not a fan of his, far from it, but someone has to point out how much better he's getting at every single game. And to show that, let's start at the beginning. Coming out of high school, Caleb Williams wasn't just another good quarterback. He was the #1 dual-threat quarterback coming out of his class, a complete 5-star, 8th overall, and he committed to Oklahoma. And after a little while, he stepped into the spotlight after replacing Spencer Rattler mid-season, and having an amazing comeback against the Texas Longhorns. It wasn't that he just played well. He played amazing, and then with Lincoln Riley, he soon moved to USC in 2022, and that's where Caleb truly became great. I mean, you guys have to remember, Lincoln Riley was a quarterback guru who developed Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and so many more into Heisman Trophy winners and #1 overalls. And Caleb's first season at USC was just amazing. 4,537 passing yards, 42 touchdowns to just 5 interceptions, and a dominant run to the Heisman Trophy. He made highlight plays look routine, rolling out of the pocket, dodging defenders, and launching 50-yard darts down the field became his signature. He was dubbed the Nets' Patrick Mahomes for his ability to extend plays and throw from impossible angles. And his junior season at USC only solidified his reputation. Even in games where USC struggled, Caleb was still amazing, and the stats didn't lie. He was the best player in college football. But with all that hype, there is obviously some hate. And let's just say, Caleb Williams is a very easy person to hate. Caleb Williams is a very confident person, and some people find that very refreshing, and others don't like it, to put it shortly. For starters, Caleb was very vocal about not wanting to play for just any NFL team, and his father hinted that Williams might return to USC for another year if the wrong team held the #1 overall pick. And then there was talk about wanting equity in a franchise that drafted him, and that was the final break. Me and a lot of other people hated this, because it was stupid. It was a stupid idea. And let's not forget him crying in his mom's lap after a loss, which was hilarious. But then there was some stupid controversy about him painting his nails, and that's no reason at all. But it did draw a lot of attention. But these controversies didn't derail his draft stock, but they painted Caleb as a polarizing figure before he even stepped onto an NFL field. And when it was official that the Chicago Bears selected Caleb Williams with the #1 overall pick and the 2024 NFL Draft, it was considered a dream scenario. The Bears were in a rare position for a team with the #1 overall pick. They weren't completely devoid of any talent. Unlike most #1 overall picks, who just have a roster full of holes, Caleb walked into a team with legitimate weapons. You have DJ Moore, a proven wide receiver 1, Keenan Allen, who is an amazing veteran, and Cole Kmet, who is a rising tight end. And the defense was a little worrisome, but they were still good, with a lot of playmakers. This wasn't your typical rebuild. On paper, it was the perfect environment for a rookie quarterback to thrive. And then the Bears traded away Justin Fields, a quarterback who, despite his ups and downs, had showed flashes of greatness. And what I don't understand about this is that Fields could have served as a mentor or even a bridge quarterback, easing Caleb's transition from college to NFL, but instead the Bears just handed him a starter position, which is just stupid, I think. I think a quarterback needs at least half a season before they even touch an NFL field, since compared to college football, the NFL is a completely different beast. And Caleb Williams quickly found that out with his debut against the Titans, and it was just a disaster. He completed 14 passes on 29 attempts with only 93 yards and a 48% completion rate. And it wasn't just the numbers. It was the lack of rhythm, the missed throws, and the inability to get anything going. And while the Bears still managed to win, Caleb didn't help. Through his first games, Caleb threw just 2 touchdowns compared to 4 interceptions, and his completion percentage hovered around 50%, and the Bears went 1-2, with the media, which had spent the whole offseason hyping him up as the Nets' Mahomes, quickly started to turn on him, and they started focusing on Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix. But not everything was on Caleb. I mean, their offensive line was a little shaky, but I mean, come on. You still have DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and they selected Rome Odunze, who is an amazing wide receiver 3. But I mean, their offensive coordinator does suck, so you can also give him some leeway with that. But anyways, In week 6, Caleb finally showed why he was the number 1 overall pick, throwing for 304 yards and 2 touchdowns in a dominant win over the Carolina Panthers. The following week, he lit it up with the Jaguars in London, tossing 4 touchdowns in a 35-16 blowout. And these performances reminded everybody about Caleb's immense talent, the arm strength, the mobility, the playmaking. Everything is there, but he is wildly inconsistent, which is very consistent for a rookie. But like I said earlier, not everything's Caleb's fault, and I think the real issue is the Bears' coaching staff. But let's be clear, rookies struggle. It's normal. Peyton Manning threw 28 interceptions as a rookie. Josh Allen looked lost during his first year, and Patrick Mahomes didn't even play. But the difference between those players and Caleb Williams is the coaching. The Bears hired Shane Waldron as their offensive coordinator, and throughout the season, his play calling was just baffling. I mean, he was drawing up plays to where his receivers weren't even open. I don't even know how he got the job. And he was eventually fired, and now they're actually looking a lot better without him. On top of that, just like I said earlier, the offensive line has been a disaster. Caleb has been sacked about 44 times through 10 games, putting him on pace to be one of the most sacked NFL quarterbacks in history. Even the best QBs struggle under constant pressure, and how can a rookie succeed in these conditions? One of the biggest what-ifs of the Bears season is Justin Fields. Would Caleb Williams have benefited from sitting behind Fields for a year, teaching Caleb the ins and outs of the NFL, while allowing him to develop at his own pace? Because he would have gotten another year with all these great receivers to show how truly good he is. Instead, the Bears trade Fields to the Steelers, where he's just playing decent. And then they throw Caleb into the fire. And now both the players and the franchise are paying the price. I mean, people saw them as this playoff team. I didn't personally. But like I said, over the past 2 weeks, as I'm making this video, it's Thanksgiving by the way, he's had 2 great games against Green Bay and Minnesota. And in 8 games, he's only thrown 1 pick and plenty of touchdowns. So I mean, he's already shown flashes, but for Caleb to reach his potential, the Bears need to make major changes. And that starts with the coaching staff. I think you need a brand new head coach, because after plenty of years, Matt just isn't doing it. And I think they need an offensive guru. Someone who can fully unlock Caleb's potential and build a system that suits him. But at the same time, Caleb still needs to improve. He needs to improve his decision making, work on his accuracy, and find a way to stay confident even when things go wrong. But I don't think he needs any work with that. It's way too early to label Caleb Williams as a bust. And quarterbacks take a lot of time to develop, and he's only a couple games into his career. And yes, the hype hasn't matched the results, and it obviously wasn't. Every great player struggles early in their career. It just happens. Caleb Williams' story is far from over. Whether he becomes the next Mahomes or the next Trey Lance will all depend on what happens in the next couple seasons. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Is Caleb Williams actually being criticized fairly? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And until next time, peace.